Hello, hello. Welcome to another reading of Days of Darkness by yours truly, Angelique. Grateful for the opportunity to be here on Instagram, even with my 100 and something followers. The little notifications like, just so you know, you might not be able to go live if you don't have 1,000 followers. I'm just like, okay. But hello, hello. I am on here today. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Today we'll be jumping into chapter 21, Environment Inventory. Okay. Um, I'm really looking forward to sharing this experience with you all today and continuing to share it as long as I am able to live on Instagram. But if you are at all interested, you can head on over to my YouTube channel at VZ Spaces to catch these readings and engage in that way. Also, as we get into the further parts of the book, I would like to remind you that, there may be some heavier topics. Not there may be, there are. There are some heavier topics that do come up during these readings as part of my life experience. So if you need a moment to breathe, get some water, pause, step back, come back, I definitely respect and allow you to do that. I'm not offended. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. I won't be offended if you have to pause and take a moment to come back and honor yourself. And I appreciate your grace and space as I allow myself to process in real time as I'm reading with you. This is my second time reading through the book. That first time was during Kelvin Hagen's book club. He's a practitioner, a spiritual practitioner, and he has this book club where they read insightful things. And he asked me to join him and read my book for his audience. And it was a really powerful experience. And I'm finding that this read through is still very emotional. There's still things that come up for me. If you are interested in seeing the past readings, they are available here on YouTube. And again, if you're on Instagram, you can come on over to the YouTube page and get this look. So yeah, that is my little introduction. Oh, I did want to show you, because I don't think I showed you guys the coloring page, or maybe I did. This is the page that I did on the plane coming home from Mexico. I was sitting in an aisle seat, and when I got on the plane, this is a little tangent. When I got on the plane, there was a lot of musical chairs happening. I'm just like, I did not realize that people would get on a plane with a seat number and not sit where the seat number is. Like, we're on a plane. This is not a bus. There are assigned seats, y'all. A lot of musical chairs happening, and then I ended up being sat next to these two very chatty individuals, and I was just like, wow, they're having a lot of conversation. And I was sitting behind this guy who just really wanted his seat to be back, and just was like, kept trying to make it go back a little bit more, a little bit more. And I was just like, yo, I need a moment to myself. And this really did help me to regulate And I appreciate that I had this with me, that I brought my colored pencils, that I was prepared. Um, because often when we find ourselves in situations like that, we feel like we just have to, I'll speak for myself. Often when I find myself in situations like that, I feel like I just have to just suck it up and deal with it, and there's no real like outlet for the energy that is being generated within me. So having this to focus on and to relieve myself. Hey, Richard. It was a really wonderful opportunity, because I was just like, y'all I'm just gonna focus on me. Just gonna focus on me. You work on your seat situation. Y'all have this conversation over here. I'm a color. I'm a color. And then this is the page that I colored today. You can check that out there. Yeah. And this was something I just colored right now. And I was reflecting on when I was younger, I had this big Mickey Mouse coloring book. And the images were a bit complex. And it felt like I never really had the time to just like really sit and focus and make the decisions of what colors I wanted things to be. It's like there was always like someone calling my name, like, get this or do this or did you do this or we gotta go here. And it was just never really an opportunity for me to like sit and finish the pages. And while I was just sitting here coloring before this live, I recognized like I don't have to rush to do this. I can color at my leisure. I can enjoy this process. I can enjoy just watching this come to life. And it doesn't have to be this pressured thing. And then I also only chose 4 colors for it. And just learning to navigate with a specific palette and trusting that it'll come together in a beautiful way. So yeah, that was kind of my just sharing some coloring pages. There's also some pictures of other people's coloring pages on my website, vzspaces.com. It's right there at the top. I did have it at the bottom at one point, but then I was like, let's bring this to the top because I really like that people have been sharing their coloring pages with me. So yeah, that's where we are. So again, this is Days of Darkness. Hello, Jorge. Oh my gosh, your flight attendant content has been cracking me up. And I also just shared a little story about my flight home from Mexico. So feel free to watch the replay. But we're going to jump into it. So I like to start with the author's note and the dedication. So here we go. This is a work of nonfiction. The events and experiences detailed herein have been described from the author's memory to the best of the author's ability. This publication is designed to provide personally experienced information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold and shared with the understanding that the author is not engaged in rendering psychological, financial, legal, or other professional services. If specific expert assistance or counseling is needed, the services of a competent professional in that field should be sought. Okay? I'm not here to diagnose anybody. I am sharing my story. I'm not here to give relationship advice. I am sharing my story. I am willing to support you with uncovering your self-expression, with getting more clarity about your purpose, with seeing what kind of story that you might want to create about yourself, encouraging you. holding you accountable. I can definitely support with that. However, if you're looking for a lawyer or a marriage counselor or a financial advisor or a psychologist, that's not me. That's not what this book is for. Okay? If you do need support with your finances, I am a brand ambassador for the Black Money Matters Act Like It brand with Jessica McConaughey. It's not just for Black people. Just want to put that out there. It's not just for Black people. It's a reminder that we should be more alert and aware about our finances as Black people, but as people in general. So if that is something that you need support with, I can guide you to some people. Also, there are beautiful people here like Jorge and Leah and Lisa May LeBlanc, and Raymel and Stacy, and just so many beautiful people who are also in this work of helping to uncover what your true potential is, what your light is, giving you clarity, so that you can live a life that you desire to live. So if you were looking for a referral, I can definitely do that if I'm not the person for you. Onward. Parental advisory content warning. Topics of suicide and depression, some sexually suggestive situations, and strong language. And again, if you need a moment to step away, do some breathing, get some water, I definitely respect that, and I appreciate your grace as I read through and may need to do so myself as we step into some of the heavier chapters. Okay, dedication. This book is dedicated to all the younger versions of me, including the 31-year-old me, because I'm 32 now. She is the giant upon whose shoulders I stand. Without her strength, perseverance, and resilience, I wouldn't be able to stand as tall as I do today. I love you, little me. Also, thank you to the virtual mentors who have poured light into my mind and heart. Your decision to be a light keeper in this world has saved millions of lives, including mine. Special shout out to Lisa Nichols and Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Jim Rohn, all the people, Ernest Holmes, yes, Earl Nightingale, all the beautiful people who I have learned from. But yeah, shout out to Lisa Nichols, because this book would not exist without her and motivating the masses. Okay? So yes, we're stepping into environment inventory. Pausing for the thumbnail. All right, so as you can see, this is a 2-pager, a page and a quarter. So let's buckle in. Human beings have the remarkable ability to adapt to a variety of environments. As we go through life, we experience new situations and individuals that may shock us, and we all reserve the right to be initially shocked by something unexpected. However, eventually we acclimate through enough exposure. This quality of adaptation supports us with reducing stress around new circumstances. It's a part of our psychological immune system, but it can also hinder personal growth. Who are the people you interact with most? What is the most predominant lifestyle around you? Where are you putting most of your time and energy? How are you thinking about yourself? These are important questions to ask if we desire to grow ourselves and move on to the next chapter. These are important questions to ask if we find ourselves in constant drama and distress. If we are persistently feeling hopeless and unsatisfied. Hey, Spencer. The people and places we give our time and energy to are a main factor in the quality of our mental wellness. Are you constantly surrounded by people who are perpetually mad, sad, or miserable and aren't seeking to create a better experience? Are you in an area where everyone is in the mindset of poverty and struggle? Before you condemn yourself to the idea that life just sucks, see if that's the predominant mantra around you. From there, you can choose to act on your own awareness and recognize that you have the ability to find or create new surroundings. Once you raise your awareness of the environment, then it's then up to you to take action to build or seek surroundings that support and nourish the life you desire to live. Let me go out this way. Environment inventory. Thank you, Spencer. Actually, I'm really enjoying this pattern of the hair. So thank you for that. But yeah, environment inventory. Ooh. So in the season that this book is referencing, I was living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment with 3 men. And I feel like I mentioned that in a earlier chapter. And they were mostly like gamer nihilists, like very critical, lots of shouting matches. Just lots of shouting and aggression in a verbal space. There wasn't like a lot of physical fighting. It was just a lot of shouting. And there was a lot of focus on like alcohol and drugs, and just the mindset was very, let's do what we can to get this, I guess high is the word, because there was a lot of blunts and dabs and all the things happening constantly. Constantly. So let's just like get this where we can right now. And there wasn't a lot of forward thinking. There wasn't a lot of let's invest into our future. Let's plant seeds. Let's grow. That was not the environment that I was in. And when I moved out of that environment, which is something that I discussed towards the end of the book, I really had to reprogram myself, because I realized that I was still in that. I realized that my internal environment was still aligned with that external environment that I had come out of. And so in order to do that, I started listening to Les Brown and Lisa Nichols and Earl Nightingale just constantly, and doing my best to wash my brain. You know, people say brainwash, but I had to wash my brain. I had to wash my energy out, because I realized, like, I want to do something different. I want to be someone new. I want my life to be better. And I can't do that if I'm still thinking and still behaving, still have the same desires that I had when I was in a place where I didn't want to be, where I didn't feel constructive, where I felt like life sucks. When I tell y'all, like, I'm a totally different person, it really blows me away. Because before I was on this journey, I really felt like life sucked. Like it really was meaningless. That it was just hard until you died. And that is a very heavy mindset to have, even when people are like joking about it or like dark comedy or being sarcastic. Walking around with that perspective of life really puts us in a cycle of self-defeat, and we don't even realize that it's happening because the people in our environment are typically of that same mind. And so this is just our normal conversation, like, oh, how are you? Well, I'm alive, I guess. How was your day? Oh, it sucked. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Slide into my DMs. And I recognized that I had to do something different. I had to be around different people. I had a season of isolation where I just had to come back into myself. And I talk about that in the books in a couple of later chapters. But that season really allowed me to like start making the shift. And it wasn't until I started to get around the Lisa Nichols campus and Raymel and Carrie and Stacy and Michelle Hardy that I actually was around people who were like, I want to do something more with my life. Like, life really is a beautiful thing, and I want to live in the beauty of that. And honestly, starting to watch Agape regularly in 2023 and attending regularly in 2024 and still to this day, being in that environment has really supported me with understanding that my life is a divine life, that God is living life through me. And that's such a beautiful opportunity that we all have. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you are a conscious human being, the divine is living its life through you. Getting to experience all this stuff through you. And when I get to practice that and really seat myself in that, it gives me such a zest for life. And it makes me realize that life doesn't suck. I just had the thought that life sucked, so it did suck. But now it doesn't suck. Now it is beautiful and spectacular. Spencer says, this. I definitely understand being in low-income housing in Austin, Texas. It was my first safe space I've ever had. But 3 years in here, and I feel like I've outgrown the environment and people. And that's a powerful point of awareness to have, Spencer, and anybody else who can relate to that. And I really encourage you to celebrate yourself first and foremost for being able to recognize that, noticing that you've grown, noticing that you are towards the edge of a chapter of your life. I was just talking to somebody about they can feel the season that they're in closing, in a new book, a new chapter opening, and we have to have that courage to be able to articulate that, and then also the courage to act on that. Because once we know and we are aware, we cannot unknow. We cannot be unaware anymore. And that creates a point of tension where we feel stuck, where we feel like I shouldn't be here. We put ourselves into like a purgatory sort of space, right? It's like, I know I should be somewhere else, but I'm here and This is where I know I've outgrown and I want to be somewhere else, but I'm still here. And we're like, at least that's been the experience for me. And it's always been released, it's always been broken through with release, with courage, with stepping into something new that may have felt like bigger than I was ready for. However, like I said in here, we adapt. We might be shocked initially, but we can adapt. And then, as we're growing and evolving, we might outgrow the space that we were like, oh, this is such a big space. And that's the beautiful thing about being a human being. We get to evolve, we get to change, we get to grow, we get to continue to expand and do new things, be in new places and in new environments. So yeah, I appreciate your vulnerability, your share, Spencer. And if this is connecting with anyone else, definitely let me know. You can reach out to me on Instagram at VZ Spaces. You can also hit me up at vzspaces.com. Again, that is V as in victory, Z as in zebra, and spaces as in space. And we can connect on that, and I can hear your story and hear how you're growing, hear how this is supporting you. Spencer also mentions when my therapist mentioned to me to get friends who are in the healthy healing community, and I started talking on Dr. Williams and Lisa's live and Leah Chamajama, and now I've met you, Jorge and Raymel. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing that there's like people out here already doing the things, y'all. We are not alone. We are not alone. Our journey is our own. We do have to have the awareness. We do have to, go within ourselves and say, this is what I want for me. And that's an independent choice. However, once you make that choice, there are people waiting with open arms to support you and give you the space to share and to explore yourself. It's beautiful to be a part of a healthy human community with y'all. Absolutely. And we're grateful for you, Spencer. And your story is I've only heard like bits and pieces of it. But it's very powerful. And I know it's very familiar. And I know that it's very like common as far as like not the specifics, but the being in poverty, being queer, being in a rural space, and just feeling unsafe, feeling like you want something different. And I have lots of friends. There's one person that's specifically coming up for me. His name is Travis, and I haven't spoken to him in a while, but when I hear your share, it reminds me a lot of him. And so I send him love anytime we're sharing space, Spencer. So I appreciate you bringing that up in my heart and being bold enough for your own healing journey. You feel me? Choosing to be a healthy human. And but yes, if you would like to connect with me, those are the ways. VZ Spaces on Instagram, vzspaces.com, my website. And if you would like the book, you can check the link in the bio on my Instagram, or you can get that from the website. And again, it is a coloring book. It is a coloring book, and it's very, as you can see here, non-committal, not really structured. You can do whatever you want, You feel me? It doesn't have to be perfect. The point is just to process the energy. Yes. So I appreciate you all. Have a beautiful, wonderful, absolutely spectacular, magical day, because you deserve it, because you are worthy, and because you can absolutely create it. Hey, make sure you go back and check out the replay. We're just wrapping up here. I do want to say not this Wednesday, not Wednesday, ooh, Lord. Not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that and the Tuesday after that, I will be in Ghana. So I will not be going live, I don't think. We'll see what the situation is, with the things, with the technology and stuff. But expect for me to not be here on August 12th and 19th. Um, we will be exploring Ghana, and thank you to everybody who supported, who contributed at the donor level and higher. We're going to be taking 12 books to Ghana, and I actually do have to do some research to see where some places that I can support, or I can spread this, and not just be out on the street like a Jehovah's Witness, like take a look, take a look. But I do appreciate you all supporting me and rooting for me as I continue to spread these insights and this inspiration around the world in my own unique way. So again, have a marvelous day. I'm rooting for you. Spencer says, have a gentle and safe day. Shay, what a beautiful sentiment that is. But yeah, I will see you next week, but not the weeks after that. Okay, we'll connect. I'll let you know. Thank you. All right, bye.